Okay, people. So AJ, she's done it again. Hit me up and said, "Hey, you want to check this out, right?" And she was right. So she passed me the horror crowd. Horror crowd. Now, the name, I love it like, fuck. Another horror film. Ugh. Then it's a documentary. So I'm like, okay, well, I mean, what's this gonna be? What kind of aspect of the genre is this gonna look at? You know? So I was kind of curious. Again, watch it during the day because fuck watching a horror at night, right? So this is directed by Ruben Pla. It is produced by Pla and Ariel Bratchfield. I feel that's how you. I feel that's how you say it. I might be wrong. Um, Also Eric Miles, Sonny Dion, executive produced by Luke Taylor, Jean Marie Pla, Matthew Helderman, Shaked Burnson, and co-produced by Hank Braxton. Okay. And Eric Miles and Brendan Rogers also work as producers. Um, Cinematography is Drew Adams. Pla Ruben edits it. Music is handled by Chris Lott. We've got Ariel Bratchfield, Hank Braxton, Richard Traig, um, with additional photography. Purple Planet also handles some of the music. Sound is Pla and Richard Traig. It is mixed by Richard Traig. Color corrections, Hank Braxton and Pla. Ryan Stevens and Hunter Johnson. Also some camera work, The Grip, Hunter Johnson. And I really enjoyed the end song, which was Scarlet from the Zombie Sunday. Right now, our cast, right? The people that we meet during this whole thing. We've got Lynn Shay, Greg Grunberg, Russell Malari, Ernest R. Dickerson, Adam Robertal, Jeffrey Reddick, Oren Pelly, Darren Lynn Bozeman, Bree Grant, there's Mike Mendez, Chelsea Stardust, Shaked Bernison, Claire Kramer, Lombardo Boya, Ryan Turek, Sarah Nicklin, Cyrus Voss, Craig Perry, Charles de Lazirica, Anthony Vernat, Kevin Tenney, Spooky Dan Walker, Andrew Cash, Darren Scott, Eric England, Adam Gersh, Jace Anderson, Brian Collins, Dave Parker, Sean Keller, Stacy Lane Wilson, Sean Decker, Aaron Carr, Tammy Sutton, Jared Rivet, and Laura Bozeman. Woo! That's a lot of people, right? It's a lot of people. But yeah, there's a load of people involved, and I think that really helps bring this thing to life. Now, the gist is this: fear, the most primal of human emotions. Dracula, Frankenstein, the Wolfman, the Exorcist, Jaws, Alien. What made the creators of these films dream up the nightmares that kept us up at night? Were they as strange and twisted as their creations? And what about today's creators of horror? Who are the minds behind the macabre present day? A revealing intimate documentary from veteran actor insider Ruben Pla. The horror crowd spotlights the Hollywood horror community, covering such wide ranging topics as women in horror, race relations, being the weird kid, sparkling the imagination, helping each other, film festivals, and the dark side. And that's the thing, right? So all of those subjects actually kind of chapters, as it were. It's kind of broken up into these segments, but not in an obtrusive way. It's pretty seamless the way it all works. And it is this fascinating conversation, right? At first, what I mean, there is the thing, and you think, we just getting a lot of people sitting in chairs and talking. But this is a little bit different, right? And I say it's a little bit different because of the way it kind of is all set up, right? Because yes, we got Ruben talking to all of these people. Usually, right? It's like I'm gonna say David Letterman, but it's not. I don't mean this in a bad way. But when you think of the way that set is, you've got those two chairs. I think now they're kind of opposite each other, right? And there's a big gap in between, but they're having a good conversation. But there is that level of separation there. Here, your plot, right? It feels like you're talking with your buddies, right? Because when you're having that conversation with friends, and you might start off sitting in a certain way, but as you get more animated, right? As the conversation flows, you move, right? And you get closer and you're talking, and it's just like, and that's what we see here, right? So you really kind of get drawn into things. There's this level of intimacy. It feels like real, proper conversations, right? It doesn't feel like this is a scripted thing. Oh, people are being given notes. Oh, there's these things that you're not allowed to talk about, right? They're just talking. They're talking, and that really does come across, which is, I think it's great. I think it really works. And then you have them just, talking about these different subjects. And I know it's something that I've been told, right? Like, oh, when you really enjoy something, right, you get more animated, right? And so you're seeing these conversations, and they're talking about these subjects, but you can see this level of animation. You can see this enjoyment in everyone. I mean, there's a few people that are a little bit more stoic in the way they are sitting and all of that. But that just seems their personality, you know what I mean? But it's just like you're believing what they're talking about, right? Because you can sense that this means a lot to them, right? There seems to be these threads that seem to go through everyone, right? When they're talking about certain films that got them in, right? The Exorcist was one that came up a lot. Nightmare on Elm Street. There was these certain films that everyone just seems to have grown up with, and I guess of a well, no, I was gonna say, I guess when you're of a certain age, but I think we have so many different ages here. You know what I mean? So it's not just everyone in their 40s. No, there seems a different, you know what I mean? Lot, which again is interesting. right? Because you've got this microcosm of people within this industry from all different backgrounds, right? All different backgrounds, but they just all have this passion for horror, which, ain't gonna lie. Ain't gonna lie. I'm scratching my head at. I'm like, yo, what the fuck, man? You know what I mean? But it's not that I hate horror. You know what I mean? It's just that it fucks you up. Right? When they're all talking about, oh yeah, the first one I saw. It's one cat that was like, I saw this at 3. I'm like, I don't even remember last week. How the fuck are you remembering when you were 3, my man? You know what I mean? But, it's just all these crazy stories. And I just, I mean, some of the ones that I've watched, and oh man, and it's funny. I was talking to my girl recently about this, right? Nightmare on Elm Street. I remember putting no. I think it was American Werewolf in London. I mean, they were both similar things, right? I just turned the TV on, and those were playing, right? And so now I'm trapped going because you're just like, oh, what is this? And then it gets crazy, and then you're like, I can't move. Oh no, I don't want to watch this, but I'm frozen. I can't move, so I'm having to watch this. Fuck. You know what I mean? And just the fact, like it as well, right? I just remember seeing that beginning bit when the balloon goes down, like the original, the Tim Curry. Tim Curry, I want to say Tim Curry. It's Curry Sarton. Might not be Tim. It's Curry Sarton, right? But he's the clown. The balloon, and and then you just see the face, and just being like, oh no, oh no, oh oh my gosh. Now years later, I finally watched that whole film, and I think it was just the goofy ending was such a lifesaver because then that demystified it. I was like, okay, I'm cool now. I'm cool. I've tried to do that with some others. Like I remember watching Nightmare on Elm Street years later. I did not want to watch that film, right? I got, you know, coerced into it. Didn't work. That did not work. Right. So just I would just remember being fucked up by this shit. But since starting all of this, right, these reviews and everything, I get sent so many horrors. So many fucking horrors. You know what I mean? It's like just send me something happy. Stop sending me the horrors. But the amount of outstanding films I have seen, right? Stuff like boy, Curse of Aruna, right? Shook, Slacks. Remember, man, and we spoke with all the people behind those films. Hellbender, even, right? The Adams Family, how great were they? Right? Fried Barry, The Power, um, boy, They Live in the Grey, Psycho Gorman, The Cleansing Hour, Host, right? Blood Quantum. Oh man, the Scare Package anthology, Horror Noir, the Mortuary Collection. Like there's so many just come true. Superhost, right? The Power. So many awesome ones. The Seed, Vicious Fun, Slasher. Man, so good, right? So good. And I have missed a load there, right? This is the ones I could just remember off the top of my fucking stupid head. But yeah, there's awesome films, right? So this is intriguing because it gives you that peek behind the curtain, right? And you're hearing from all of these people, and they're telling you, the things that got them into horror, right? They're talking about, um, you know, like just different aspects of the industry, right? So we get this interesting discussion around race relations, you know? And I think one of the big things when you think about that, so I've not seen it because, I mean, there's only so many hours in the day, people. You know, he's trying to fit mad horror films during the day. It kind of gets difficult, right? But the is it Night of the Dawn of the Dead, the Romero films, right? Ernest R. Dickinson. Yeah, he was talking about that stuff and the fact, and he was one of the early films with like a black lead, and the way like everyone's just talking that like, yo, we're watching this film and we're really enjoying the film and it's great. But then after the fact that you realize, hold on, yo, like this is you mean the Romero's done something that a load of people would not do. I mean, so you get these insights, right? Them talking about being the weird kid and Halloween costumes and all of these different things, the film festival circuit and meeting, fellow creatives and fans and just this whole community coming up and how everyone helps each other, you know? And I think that's one big thing because and oh man, I said it to someone recently. I forget who I was talking to. I mean, you would have heard it. It was during one of these conversations, people. But the fact that I think you can see, you can often see. I think it was Adam Buxton. I think I was talking. It was when I was talking to Adam. It's like you can see a lot of the times how people enjoy working with each other. It kind of comes across on the camera, right? Like when you think of an Adam Sandler film, and like the Happy Madison crew, like Josh Whedon, like Kevin Smith, right? There's certain people, that have these same people behind the camera, in front of the camera, that just work with them all the time. Where you think of Jordan Peele, you think of oh my gosh, homie that did Tenant, and he's got oh my gosh, the Bagangida, right? The Destroyer of All Worlds, that film, Oppenheimer, that my man there, like they work with a lot of people over and over again, and I think it's so noticeable, right? And so when you think of a community, like all of these people, and it's like, yeah, we help each other, man. We will give each other notes. We'll, if they need a cinematographer, if they need someone quickly to jump on and do something, a table reader, blah, 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 yeah, we'll do that. And I think that's always so big because, when you think about like man, you've got your friends who will ride for you, right? And then you've got those people who, you think you're cool and you'd be like, yo, you know what I mean? Oh, could you help with this? And they're like, nah, I'm busy, I'm doing this. So just, they won't return a call. But they want something and it's just like, oh, can you help me out? You know what I mean? And it's just like, oh man, kind of sucks. So when you see people come together, it's a huge thing, man. It's a huge thing. And I think it gives you this different, as I said, like at the beginning part, he kind of says it, right? Because when you see these films and you think of who are the macabre motherfuckers making these things, right? But then you see these people and, you just willing to go above and beyond to help each other, right? Then we also, they talk about their relationships and you see them with their partners and just all of this and it, the love and just man, it's just such a nice thing, right? It's funny in trying to, if it's doing these things, you want to make sure you have, the correct the cast list and all of this. So I mean, you have to you do a little search, right? Sometimes things come up, right? So you see certain reactions, right? Some people go, ugh, this documentary doesn't teach you anything. I'm like, yo, listen, documentaries don't have to teach you stuff. And to be honest, a lot of the ones that profess to really don't. Because when you think about it, a lot of the times, the thing you have to do is just put in hard work. Not everyone wants to put in hard work. And that's what he said in this. I forget the dude that said it because he's talking, they were talking about success and the fact that there's a lot of people who he was talking, like in this horror crowd who have got real big success. There's others super talented, not the same success. And one was just like, yo, you mean, look, I want to say that you're real happy for your compadres, but there's a part of you that's just a bit like, what about me? And it makes you have a look at yourself. And sometimes, the answer might be you ain't working hard enough, right? And that level of honesty, I think that's a teaching moment right there, people. Right? You want people to give you a cheat code to be like, oh, if you just do this and this, you'll be huge, you'll go viral, you'll be blah blah blah. Sometimes you just need to be told you need to work harder. You need to work harder. Right? But yeah, the horror crowd, it is a very fascinating, intimate look at this group of people and the connective tissue that kind of joins them all together, which obviously is the love of the film, but horror, it can be anything, right? It can be a drama, a psychological thriller, it can be a comedy, it can be whatever you want it to be. You know what I mean? Which is fascinating because there's not a lot of genres that could be anything. You know what I mean? So you have that, but then all these other things that draw these people together. And I think it's really great for that. Now, he also breaks it up, right? Different angles, and sometimes they're outside and in different rooms and things like that. So it's not just sofas, but we get honest and frank conversations. And I think that's the important thing, right? That's the thing that engrosses you, right? That keeps you captivated when you know something isn't just, tweaked and edited, trimmed and cut, right? Manufactured. You want something that feels honest, that feels real. And I feel that's what we get, people, with the horror crowd, right? This real intimate look at what it is to be a horror fan. And there is a joy in that, people. There really is. So it is out now, right? All your favorite VODs. Go check it out if you're a fan of horror. Because I think you will be fascinated. Honestly, do, people. I honestly do. And look, AJ recommends it. You know what I mean? So you come on. How many times we done this dance? You know it's gonna be legit, right?